Welcome, everyone. It's Mad, and along with Night today. And unfortunately, I'm more excited about Night than I am about Mechan-o-wyrm. But I will gladly talk to you about what Mechan-o-wyrm is good about and what he's kind of meh about. So please stay tuned. So I've done a little bit of difference. Part of it is my phone isn't compatible anymore with the computer, so it's hard to show. I will try and do a little bit more pictures if possible, if needed, to show later on. But let's go with the mechanoworm. I'll talk about its leader on the next page, and we'll just kind of go through it that way. Otherwise, nothing else really has changed a great deal. Um, got a new shipment of stuffies, and I will be showing those off after a few reviews as well. So Mechan-o-wyrm is another inorganic, which is actually pretty cool and is a decent guard, but has a pretty significant disadvantage against a lot of the units that are would be considered top of the class right now. But its first skill, Selflessness, takes one attack directly. We all know that one. Very, very useful. And the Selfless anyone near it. Gal Force Orb is the second one, deals major whoosh type breath damage to one enemy and can occasionally paralyze. The last skill is Magnetic Missile, which deals major martial damage to all enemies and generates spaces that lower move for enemies only for 2 turns. And this is by far its most useful skill for attack, and it's very unique, but it's just not good enough right now. I'm hoping that I get a lot of Mechan-o-wyrm when it becomes back into like the normal one in about another 6 months to a year. If you are interested in Mechan-o-wyrm, and I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to it because I've got a bunch of others that are top notch. Its first awakening is very important because it enables cover for 3 turns. Uh, as I say, if you have this, then it allows you to do a magnetic missile before you have to go through, or two before you have to go through all the selflessness. It has scissor bag resist. And when it's attacked by physical or martial, it has a 40% chance to paralyze at the third awakening. And that is probably the most exciting aspect of the Mechan-o-wyrm. But the big weakness it has is that its intrinsic also gives a bounce, and you're going mad. Okay, so breath units is like its one weakness. The main issue is that it is weak to Dragon Baran, Demon Dragon Baran. He can potentially one shot it with its with its cover because of its an unblockable magic, and he is just incredibly weak to him. He'll be weak, I believe, to the magician as well, and he can be one shot very quickly due to this weakness, and it's very hard to counteract that weakness. And this is why he's not as exciting for me as he is for others. And the fifth one is max HP plus 100. So I'm just kind of being very honest with you with that, and you're going to see that in my review in a little bit. As leadership effect increases in organic defense power by 30%. Nothing surprising there. Leader is okay, but it's great for it. Its HP is 1408. Its agility is 480, which is pretty good. MP 545, which is way beyond what it needs. Tact 325 and defense 573. Wisdom 151, movement 2, and weight 50. And people are already probably asking, Mad, why isn't this so great compared to the others? It just doesn't have a way to mitigate damage. If it did, then the breath and also unblockable spells wouldn't be as much of an issue for Mechan-o-wyrm. Its teachable skills, Ironclad Defense, you need to raise the user spell resistance and defense for 3 turns. You can get that right now in the real time arena awards. This is the only way you'll be able to use Mechan-o-wyrm, and it needs to make sure that it casts Ironclad defense so that you're at least more resistant to spells. The preferred weapon, basically, you're just looking for a good HP and or potentially attack weapon. Here's the Demon Dragon Blade with Dice Adventure. You could use the Lollipop. Basically, you're just looking for more HP. Um, Nothing really special there. For the pros cons, the reducing enemy movement is incredibly unique and can be devastating, especially for units that have movement of two that need to be melee. Uh, there's certain areas where you can just absolutely mitigate any horrific damage and potentially, even if you have to sacrifice Mechan-o-wyrm to do it, it's worthwhile. You're facing a really, really tough battle, but what you can do is give your long-term battle units, one more turn to pound on them. That might be enough to get you a 150 where it would be a tough 100, 110 battle. So there are uses, but sometimes it does require self-sacrifice from Mechan-o-wyrm in order to do so. The bounce shield as intrinsic for 3 turns is incredibly useful, and the cover and physical martial chance to paralyze skills are just incredibly useful for EX1 and EX3. But it has two big cons, which honestly a lot of these units don't have as big of cons here, because it's just the non-reflectable spells, especially Demon Dragon Brawn, and the movement is slow too. So the thing is, it's a guard unit, and Demon Dragon Brawn can literally one-shot it if it is guarding anything, which is kind of its point. And that's the big thing. The auto cover is great, so it has better utility in that regard, and you can use it as a sacrifice in real time arena, and you can use that to great effect. Will I pull? No. I'll do some pulls here. As I say, I wouldn't mind it, especially for the reducing enemy movement. It has its abilities. It can be really powerful in PvE, but if you're saving up gems, especially for the hero or Summer Sorrow, I would definitely just keep on saving. You'll have better uses outside of it, and if you get lucky, you get lucky. Visor Kaiser, though, that's a little bit more of an interesting unit here. It has selflessness, suction, deals small breath damage to one enemy 4 times and recovers 100% damage dealt, and Dark Genocide, which is T-shaped Zam here. I'm just going to go through its stats because I know you can't see. The HP is 1251 and defense is 560 with 362 agility and only 248 attack. It has breath damage, and honestly, you're probably going to be either doing suction or dark genocide, so the attack doesn't really matter. Visor Kaiser is a very interesting unit. I actually would rather have him than Mechan-o-wyrm just because it has a lot of interesting uses. And what bonus skill? Just give it a debuff, and I think you'll be very happy with it. Its first will increase its movement and breath and recovery at the start of battle, which is really useful, especially it's only 2 there, but it will increase, I believe, up to 3. The third will greatly increase defense at the start of battle. And with 561, that's almost the same defense as the Mechan-o-wyrm. And at the third awakening, it greatly increases that. So it is actually really hard to fight. So when we have the A only there, that is a very good tank. And the fifth gets auto HP recovery on top of it. So all in all, I think this is actually a pretty good A unit. Not the best, but a pretty good one. So I hope you guys enjoy. Knight says hi. Knight will be making a lot more appearances as well. Sorry that Knight debuts on kind of a okay unit. Has some good uses. you may see an RTA, and then you'll see why they use an RTA, or even potentially on some defenses as well for Guild Wars. So I just kind of want to go through the unit, what the unit can do, some of its weaknesses, and if you're fighting against it, how you can use those weaknesses to your advantage. So I hope you guys enjoy, and